Good evening, and welcome to the South Burlington Development Review Board for Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. My name is Dawn Philibert, and I'm the chair of the board. And I'd like to introduce you to other members of the board. Frank Kochman, Ted Lenski, Charlie Johnston, okay, I'll get it. Jody Lesko. We have a lot of names that are similar, so I stumble over them. Dawn Philibert, and our staff, Marla Keene and Betsy Brown. Thank you for coming tonight. This meeting is being recorded. Okay. There's a couple of ways to participate in this meeting. One is to attend, as those of you who are in the audience are. Another way is to attend virtually, and you can also call in and listen to the meeting on the phone. Regardless of how you participate, it's important that you register your participation. If you're here, please sign up at the sign-up sheet out back. If you're attending virtually, please put your contact information in the chat box. And if you're calling in, please send your contact information, email your contact information to mkeene@southburlingtonvt.gov. That way, there'll be a record of your participation should you wish to take any action at a later date. Okay, let's go ahead with the agenda. The first item on the agenda is emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of emergency, there are doors in the back on each side of the auditorium. You would exit those doors and go either left or right, and you would be outside. Are there any additions, deletions, or changes in the order of agenda items?
Nope.
Hearing none. Are there any announcements or reminders?
As this is our first webinar, I just wanted to sort of announce what the participation procedures will be, and maybe you and I can work together for next meeting to sort of change the intro a little bit.
Okay.
So we're doing a webinar. Participants, instead of being able to unmute themselves or show their video, will have to raise their virtual hand if they want to speak. Public comment period will follow the board discussion for every agenda item. And if you have questions that you'd like to ask of the board, you can put them in the Q&A. The board will only be looking at those when we get to the public comment portion of each item, but you're welcome to put them in as we go. If you might want to wait because your question might be answered as we go along. So I think that is it. No one will be able to share their video, but if you raise your virtual hand, I can unmute you when it's time for public comment.
And you unmute one at a time?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Thank you, Marla. Are there any comments and questions from the public that are not related to the agenda? Okay, hearing none, let's move ahead with our first application. That is number 5 on the agenda, and that is site plan application SP 2536 of Hoyle, Tanner and Associates, Inc., on behalf of the City of South Burlington to amend a previously approved plan for a wastewater treatment facility. The amendment consists of demolition of 7 buildings and a storage tank and construction of 6 new buildings, relocation of the driveway, and associated site improvements at 15 Bartlett Bay Road. Who's here for the applicant, please?
Good evening, everybody. Tom DePietro, and I'm a Public Works Director for the city.
Okay.
Here representing the city in this application. And
Hi, Tom.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, how are you? I'm John Olin. I'm with Hoyle, Tanner and Associates. I'm the project manager for the project. On the Zoom call, we have Marisa DiBiaso, the civil engineer, as well.
Okay. And her name is what?
Marisa DiBiaso.
Marisa.
John, would you like me to unmute her from the get-go for this portion of the application?
You can, yeah, if we need to direct a question over towards Marisa.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to swear the 3 of you in, and I can't see her. Marisa, could you raise your right hand? And gentlemen, if you could raise your right hand, please. Thanks. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
I do.
I do.
Thank you.
We should be able to hear Marisa as well.
Okay, good. So would you like to, I know we heard from you at Sketch Plan not that long ago, but do you want to give us just a very, very brief overview of why you're back, please?
Sure. So there are two wastewater treatment facilities in the city, one up by the Airport Parkway plant, and then the Bartlett Bay plant, which is down off Route 7. We're here tonight to do kind of a refurbishment or reconstruction of the Bartlett Bay plant, and that's the application before you. The plant has been operating for a little over 20 years since its last refurbishment, and these facilities need continued investment to keep operating at a high level, protect public health and the environment. And so we've been working with John's firm to do all the design. And we are, I think, at a point where we're seeking permits and getting ready to bring the project out to bid.
Great. Thanks, Tom. Before we dive into the questions and review them, does anyone have any general questions? Okay. The first question relates to, hold on, the driveway and a request to correct the percentage. Let me read it. 3.05H limits the portion of the required front setback used for driveways and parking to 30%. The value provided by the applicant seems high. Staff recommends the board require the applicant to correct this value to reflect only the driveway, since there was no parking proposed within the front setback, for appropriate record keeping. And you've seen this already, haven't you?
Yes. Yeah. Our calculation included the portion of the shared use path and the parklet that was designed
Okay.
into that calculation, but we can update that, no problem.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Second question. This is regarding the sidewalk connection to the operations building. You've read the question. Just wondering about your response. Should there be a sidewalk connection from the street to the ops building?
So the majority of this is an operations building for the wastewater treatment facility. So there's not really a large driver for the public to move to the operations building. If they needed to, the driveway access would be adequate. I wouldn't necessarily propose adding a sidewalk. That adds additional impervious surface, which is a challenge for stormwater
And cost, I would assume.
and cost. Yeah.
Okay, so there's you don't see that there's any need for that. Perfect. Questions? Thank you. Number 3. This is about tree clearing facing Bartlett Bay Rd. In light of the board's discussion at Sketch Plan regarding screening and buffering from Bartlett Bay and the nearby homes, staff recommends the board discuss with the applicant minimizing tree clearing, even if the trees in question consist of general brushy woods. So what are your thoughts about that?
So the tree clearing along that portion of the property was identified for the construction operations of the demo of that existing Living Technologies building that is needs to come out, and then for the planting plan as well. Now, the shared use path and the site distance needed at the driveway were the reason why the cedar hedges have been removed and the relocation of the driveway. So as far as that brushy trees around the sides of the property, they were limited for the construction of the project.
So can you cut as little as possible?
I think the outline is pretty much, if you want to bring that plan up on screen, that is so if you zoom in on that, you can see the outline of the existing Living Technologies building. And then this doesn't show the planting of the new trees around the parklet, but that is, we did kind of curve out that tree clearing there.
Yeah, if you go to C5.2, it's the landscape plan. Sorry, I think it's page 39. Oh, these are just the plans. I don't know what.
Yeah, that one right there. Just past it. Right there. So lightly, you can see the rectangular outline of the Living Technologies building. They'll need some space to be able to remove that. And then the parklet with the intentional trees planted around that, that's what's needed for the tree clearing.
So I'll just add, just to get kind of a 360 around that building for demolition is the plan for clearing, but yeah, not to the property line.
So that'll provide very good screening eventually.
Yes.
Okay. Questions?
So this comment came from a place of looking at how the tree clearing line matches the river corridor buffer. And so we were saying, well, you know, it looks like they just cleared as much as they could without being in conflict with the LDR, with the LDR. So that's where that question was coming from.
Okay, thank you. Number 4. Question is, does the front-facing operations building provide a desirable transition between existing and proposed development?
Yeah, and we provided an additional rendering that wasn't in this packet that may be helpful to look at.
Okay.
A couple of different street view angles. We got that in after the application went in. I'm not sure if you want to bring that on screen to take a look at that.
Does anyone need to see that or want to see it?
Could we see something a little more contextual than that sketch? Do we have something that lets us see?
I don't have access to share, but would you like to bring up the
What do
3D
you think we should
rendering?
bring up? You have a 3D rendering?
Yeah,
Okay.
there was 2 sheets I sent yesterday afternoon to you.
Okay. Sorry, things are running really slowly. It takes like a good few seconds between when Betsy changes her screen and when it shows up in front of you.
So, Betsy, one of them is the street rendering, and another one was, it had a C at the end of it, like an alternative C.
What I'm concerned about, is that really street facing or is it facing foliage?
It's
I mean, if someone's walking along and they look over their shoulder, are they going to see that or are they going to see trees?
They're going to see trees, and that's what the rendering will help you, helps illustrate the view from the street and from the shared use path. So this is a little bit, at an angle. It's actually easier to see it, I think, in this view than in one of the other views coming up.
So the street, I mean, if that's an accurate rendering, then the street-facing facade is kind of irrelevant.
Okay. Anything else, Board? Yep. Oh, nice. Okay, good.
So these are all proposed to be deciduous trees, right?
Correct.
And how big are they proposed to be installed?
Oh, I don't know offhand the canopies. It's on the landscaping plan for the size, but. Marisa, you might.
2 inches, 2.5 inches.
Oh, at install, yeah, 2.5-inch caliber.
And we'd also forwarded emails to the city arborist. He took a look at the species prior, and we didn't include that with the application, but we forwarded that along after seeing the comment related to that.
Okay.
When you get to it.
Thanks. So number 5 relates to the little park, and there are trees, eastern red bud trees, and 2 benches. And the question to the board is this sufficient? And we need to see the details of the benches, please. So the first question is, board, do you think this is sufficient for the park? And there's pavers too, correct? Pavers? Yes.
Yeah.
Look kind of cute to me.
I kind of take issue with the description. How can 3 2-inch trees go around the perimeter of anything?
Maybe we can look at the
Picture again.
yeah, look at the
Well,
rendering.
Frank,
again
that's the caliper of the trunk to start.
I understand that.
But they still.
Yeah, so
the red ones there.
I see. Okay.
So, and I'll just note on the bench, the city has a bench kind of standard that we have been sharing around. We actually have to add it to our standards. It's not in there yet, but I had forwarded that on this afternoon as well. It's a recycled plastic bench. It's black, and then the slats are green. And so that's what would be proposed, is just sort of that standard bench.
Okay.
Now, pardon me, this says 2 benches, but I see 3.
I think that was just the rendering the person who did it. I think the third one would be an informational sign, is what we've been discussing.
Okay.
That would be developed to help inform the public of what's happening there.
Okay. Thank you. Is this sufficient, board?
I remember in sketch plan, someone mentioning that there's a bus stop here as well.
It's not going to invite much for about 10 years. Three 2-inch caliber trees don't look like that for a long time. And they're certainly not around, they're behind. I would push for a little more.
When you say a little more, Frank, what kind of tree or what are you recommending?
I think that takes a little more precise knowledge than I've got.
But are you thinking deciduous or evergreen or?
Well, in other
Well,
words,
it's sort
if
of
it's
their
supposed to be an
responsibility
invited,
to propose something.
Okay.
Proof,
Okay.
right? The board doesn't design projects.
Okay.
if it's supposed to be an inviting public space, make it inviting. I don't know, a hedge behind the other benches, more trees, more circumference for the trees that you're putting in, something that actually will, in a reasonable amount of time, resemble what the drawing is, which is completely misleading.
A lot of times when we get these
Unintentionally, of
pocket
course.
parks, there's sort of a mixture of trees, shrubs, grasses, perennials, not just a couple of trees. And maybe that tree, maybe the perennials or whatever, if the board didn't feel like it was important to include them forever, maybe there'd be a condition that says, maintain them until the trees reach 4-inch
Okay.
caliber or something. I don't know.
I have I don't know if we actually resolved number 4, but Frank, I trust that you would speak up if you weren't satisfied with the previous comment. I'm actually wondering too, could be related to one of the later comments around the budget for landscaping and how there is room for increased investment in landscaping in general. So I think with comment number 4 and recognizing that those deciduous trees there on the right will not provide a lot of screening for a portion of the year, that some additional landscaping of a evergreen variety might be considered for the screening to be met. And I'm just thinking we're going to get to at some point later talking about the landscaping, the minimum requirement for landscaping as part of the budget. So it seems like there might be room for that. I guess that's what I would offer.
Okay.
That sounds like a good suggestion, because we changed this a little bit from sketch based on the board's comments, but yeah, there is a landscaping discussion coming. So yeah.
So some thoughts for you to ponder. Okay, number 6, should the driveway width,
Also, again, on the theme of inviting public space, are those backless benches?
No, it's just artistic rendering.
Well,
The benches have backs.
Are they going to be backless, or are they going to have backs?
They'll have backs, yeah.
Okay, so that's on the record.
well, we need more details, we've said to them about the benches.
Pardon?
We
Tom-
need more details.
As
about
Tom
the
said,
benches.
he sent it
Okay.
to Betsy and I earlier, so Betsy's going to pull it
Okay,
up.
good.
I'm just going to have to sit tight with computer slowness for a second.
So part of the concept is that behind those red buds right now is a decrepit Living Technologies building that's being torn down. And the view through there as a lawn behind some trees, and then there's the river or the stream that's at the backside. That's where you want to block the view of the plant inside. So the screening along the riverbank, those additional birch trees back there, that second layer of screening is where we were intending. And we did talk to the arborist about evergreens and getting Nick's input into what he felt was best, and didn't he liked the current plan as far as a maintainable plan that was in the context of the area and provided a good look to it long term as well.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. Should the driveway width be reduced? Pardon me.
So I
From
believe
24 to 18.
If with regards to the curb cut and the statement that's just above that, it may have been a misinterpretation or maybe the words that came across. Hopefully, the intent when we were talking last time at the sketch meeting was that the 24-foot width was the curb width required for the truck turning movement, not for sight distance. Sight distance was related to the cedar trees. The 24-foot width was for truck turning movement, and then since we do have deliveries and hauling operations here, the ability for trucks to safely pass each other within the site.
Okay. And you can't do that with 18 feet?
18 feet would be pretty tight for them to navigate
Okay.
through.
Okay. It's just more impervious, but I guess it is what it is.
I think I remember Mark was the one that had the question about the width, and it's
Okay.
unfortunate that he's not here tonight.
Number 7. I'm going to read this. Staff again recommends the board not approve the request for requested infrastructure encroachment as not of an allowable type of development and instead direct the applicant to see modification under 12.06F for the proposed development, which is permitted for redevelopment of public infrastructure.
This may have been a mistake on our part as the applicant. I think we submitted what's required for both, and we're happy to remove the encroachment request and stick with the 12.06F, provided we've satisfied all the requirements there.
I'll jump in. We also submitted some more information about the wetlands permit with the state and supporting information related to 12.06F. We sent that into Marla and Vincent yesterday. So that's backup information that's requested. It might be the next comment, actually, but yeah.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is about wetland protection. And the report, we have not seen a report about the wetland protection, and the report should include demonstration of compliance with the standards for wetland protection and modifications enumerated below. And we have not seen that.
So, yes, we did follow up with the approved permit, which came in recently, and the full application, which has the supporting data from the wetland scientists' review of the site and their wetland certification form.
And Marla has that.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is one where I think that the board needs a little time to look at that additional information.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Number 9. This is about vegetation. Staff recommends the board require the applicant to provide an exhibit and computation of existing and proposed lands within the wetland buffer that will be in a naturally vegetated condition.
Yes, I think this relates to number 10 as well, the 1507. So the calculation of existing versus proposed, which we provided that plan today on. I'm not sure, Betsy and Marla, if you want to bring that up on screen to show that. That was the one that I sent this morning.
I think that is the last page, yeah.
It's a helpful illustration to just show. The main part is that the existing headworks is currently in the buffer. And that's shown in the blue outline on the right side of the page. With that being removed and reestablished as lawn space, there's an increase in lawn space within the buffer zone from the existing.
So I think what we're looking for, to go to number 10, is a computation of proposed impervious surfaces.
That's this. So the red is the proposed, the blue overlaps the red at the couple existing tanks, but it shows the difference between. So existing is 5165, and then the proposed is 3658. So the delta is 1507.
Questions, board? Okay. Number 11, staff recommends the board direct the applicant to include in their wetland report what measures were taken to minimize wetland buffer impacts.
So the approved wetlands permit includes the commentary from Tina Heath, the DEC ecologist, where the initial conversations we had with the DEC originally had the driveway extending on the entire north side of the property. We removed that out to mitigate and reduce impacts to the site. It's helpful to see it in the commentary of the approved permit. So I would direct the board to look at it there.
Okay, thank you. Questions, board? Number 12, this is staff recommends that the board permit an exemption from the criterion under 24 VSA 4413. And I'm wondering if anyone objects to that. Hearing none, we'll move on to trying to enlarge my screen here. Number 13, staff recommends the board ask the applicant why those two buildings are not proposed for solar readiness. Buildings not considered commercial buildings as defined by 30 VSA section 53 sub A are exempt. There are also exemptions for certain types of commercial buildings in CA 103.1.
Dawn, could we back up for a minute to 12?
Okay. Go ahead, Frank.
Yeah, I'd like to, could you put it up on the screen again, please?
Okay.
12, the previous. Yeah, I'm fine with the conclusion. What I don't like is the blue, with which I strongly disagree. I don't see how a tank is a principal building. Now, let me be clear. I think it's safe. Let me ask a question. Is it correct that all these buildings are an integral part of a whole without which the essential function of the facility wouldn't be operative?
That's correct.
All right. Well, given that, then 4413 directly applies, and this business about principal buildings is irrelevant. I would appreciate it if that whole discussion in blue disappeared from whatever our final result is.
Okay.
Okay.
It is a system, and all the parts are essential.
It's an integrated system.
Right.
These are not a tank. I'm sorry, I can't get it down. A tank is not a principal building. Right?
Okay. I'm back to 13. Solar readiness.
Yeah, so the two buildings or structures that are in discussion here, one is the final clarifier. That's an open tank. So we can't put solar panels on top of that. The other one is a closed top tank. So the sludge storage tanks are holding tanks. Their function is to hold sludge. They do need equipment and access from above to maintain them. So I wouldn't qualify it as a building for solar readiness.
Questions?
So
Board?
just to clarify, I don't take issue with the conclusion, like Frank just said. Would the sludge holding tanks qualify or require compliance with the commercial building energy standards? Because that's the standard in question here. Buildings that have to comply with the commercial building energy standards must have a solar ready zone.
No, it wouldn't. No, it wouldn't qualify
Wouldn't be
with energy
subject.
standards. Like,
Okay.
yeah, because it's an uninsulated
Okay.
concrete holding tank. Yeah.
Thank you. Number 14, staff recommends the board require the applicant to revise the plans to include the required long-term bicycle parking space.
So in the paragraph above where the lockers are on the inside, the long-term parking would also be considered inside the garage space. So it's a large open garage. So if staff are able to go in to utilize the lockers, they would also store their bikes inside the garage long-term.
Okay, thank you. Questions? Okay, now we get to the required landscape budget. tell us what your thoughts are about this comment, please.
Sure. Our interpretation has been that the way the LDR is written with regards to this project, which is a wastewater treatment facility upgrade, the majority of our cost comes from wastewater equipment. So the total building construction or building improvement cost, that's the cost that we presented in the landscape calculation. So the new buildings being the Headworks building, the UV, the Chem building, we use those construction costs to calculate the landscaping needs or the appropriate cost to put into landscaping. So that was submitted. That is in the DRB packet, the calculation that we came up with.
John, so I found your calculation and your conclusion, but not what value you used to get to that landscaping budget. I saw our landscaping budget is required to be 39,640. I didn't find the input number that you used to get there.
Oh, it's at the top of the landscaping calculation. So, what PDF page is that? It's towards the end.
Okay.
It looks like. Tough to do without a mouse. It's Bessie. You might find it faster. I don't have a mouse.
The number was like 3 million.
PDF page 62.
Just go up one page. So I didn't. This is the sheet I was looking. Is this the sheet you mean?
No, the 60.
Next one.
The next one.
It's not 62. All right, yeah. So that sheet right there. That's so those 4 lines at the top. The Headworks, UV, solids handling, new operations building. Those are the direct estimates for the buildings themselves, not the equipment within them. And then we use that, and then we use the formulas down below to get to 39,000.
Okay,
Makes sense.
great, thank you.
The buildings are quite utilitarian. They're not.
Right,
Yeah. Okay.
and necessary.
I have a question for staff. What's the rationale in the past? Can you give some examples of when and why equipment was removed? From
Yeah. So the big
baseline?
example in my mind was the surgical center on Tilly Drive. It's effectively an office building with a lot of really expensive equipment in it. And so when they did their cost estimate, they said, well, this includes all the wiring for the MRI machines and all the, the airflow for oxygen and all the clean room sterilization equipment. And the landscaping budget is supposed to present a requirement for a sort of run-of-the-mill building. And so because those costs were so above and beyond what a run-of-the-mill building would be, the board said, okay, cut out everything that's specialty, include initial fit-up, so sheetrock and flooring and lighting and whatever, but don't include all that really, really specialty stuff that puts you way up there for cost.
But they are heavy fixtures, right? They're not,
Right. It's not like furniture, but it's not really what you'd have. Like if some other tenant were to move into that building, they wouldn't need that stuff.
Does the rest of the board buy that rationale? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it's just difficult to go between the items in bid item 1A and say what is equipment and what is structural, right? Like the clarifier, does it really come as just a tank that sits on the ground, or do you have to build a foundation for it? Right? That's
Right.
not included in your breakdown.
And much of, let me also kind of point out, this is a refurbishment project of the wastewater treatment facility. So much of the equipment that's currently there is being replaced as part of the project. So we were talking about it as a system, a holistic system, right? So all of the equipment that currently operates the plant whether it's being replaced within a new building or an additional clarifier is being put on, that's part of the system of treatment. Whereas these other structures that house the equipment, that's what we use for the landscaping calculation.
So
Frank?
Charlie, you're
I'm lacking the technical knowledge to make a close critique. To state my concern in general terms, if there's a massive piece of equipment that is essentially, is not a file cabinet, we're talking about something really integral around which the whole building is constructed. If the purpose of the building is the piece of equipment, so to speak, that would be an extreme example. I don't see how you would exclude the piece of equipment.
Mm-hmm.
The loose definition is there's a difference between fixtures and movable personal property. What we're talking about here are clearly massive and specialized permanent fixtures. I have a hard time not thinking of that as basic to the construction, but I'll go along with the board, whatever.
From an industrial perspective, I would think that's unique equipment for the processing of waste. So I think it's unique to that. So I think it has an industrial aspect to it that would.
I don't see what difference that makes, but
Sorry, Ted, are you thinking that that would justify excluding it from the, but, okay.
Yeah. So,
I think that makes it a unique situation that excludes it from that.
so Jody and Charlie, do you?
Yeah, my only suggestion was just to have every single item that's in 1A back down in your landscape budget, and you zero out which ones you think are actually process equipment, right? And which ones are, because it's just hard to flip back and forth, right? I would say like the headworks, I totally agree, right? That probably includes pumps and piping and systems like that, and you have it right there, right? But I think you could say the secondary clarifiers, right, have some building or structural component to it. It's not just the tank, it's not just the arms that, or the aerators that are in the clarifier, right?
So what I'm kind of hearing from Charlie
Look
is
back and forth
show your work
between
a little bit more.
Right. Can you kind of delineate each of those for us for that?
I could use a little more clarity. So the clarifier, you're right. It's a big tank, and there's the arms and the blowers and things like that
Yeah.
that are part of it. So if we break that out, which portion would then be proposed to be included
You have a
based on the
foundation that
regs?
sits on, right? It sits on a foundation, a
it's in
concrete
the ground,
pad,
yeah.
right? That would be the building, I guess, or the structural component it sits on that would be counted towards needing for landscape,
Yes.
but not the actual tank and all the components that sit above it, right?
But I don't know the answer. I mean, that's a different interpretation than we had of how
Oh, okay.
that was written, certainly.
Can you take a crack at it for us, please?
I think if it's slightly more detailed, if it's more of a one-to-one comparing this detailed project cost that you provided, and then sort of like striking out the ones that you are excluding, then the board can look at them and say, yeah, that makes sense, or, oh, I have a question about what this one actually is. And, I don't know that they're necessarily looking for
I
a
think
change,
detail
but
would help
yeah.
to try and clarify what we think is industrial versus what might be infrastructure or structural. So just some additional details so we can try and see if we can define this exemption maybe.
And Frank's argument is that it should all be included. So this is sort of an opportunity to make a case that it shouldn't.
Well, I think all included is nearly $300,000 by the calculation in here, and that seems a bit excessive for a wastewater plant landscaping. But do you think you understand the request enough to be able to pick that out, John?
Yeah.
as I back.
I guess I wonder if we're here tonight and there's everything thus far has been along the lines of potentially a conditional approval. And I'm wondering if this would hold us up.
Well, I think we still need time to look at the wetland justification stuff before the board can close. Especially because that was something that they were very vocal about during sketch. So I want to make sure I do present that to them and review it thoroughly and provide any feedback.
Okay, can we move on?
I'm curious, do you feel like you have enough clarity to move forward, even if you might not be happy about it?
I think so.
I think we can give it our best shot. Yeah.
It's
I just worry we're breaking
You can
new
see
ground
us
here.
like wrestling with the level of detail from one end of the
You're
spectrum
the
to the
experts
other.
in
So
this.
yeah,
An iteration that you think is
reasonable.
reasonable, we can then have more discussion on point.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Number 16. This is about curbing detail. We need more detail about the curbing.
so the site plan, if we look at the two site plan sheets, those have a dark bold line and then they have an arrow pointing to them with a VGC, that's vertical granite curbing. So I think it does outline where the curbing is pretty well on the site plans.
What do you think, Marla?
I'll take another look. Betsy, if you want to pull it up, I think it's.
Can I ask for some clarity? Yeah, about the staff comment there, because it does, if it's labeled, where is it unclear whether curbing is proposed?
It might,
Find the right sheet. It's got to be. Where the grading and drainage. Oh, I'm way farther down the plan set than I realized. I'm sorry. I was like, why are these the piping plans? Demolition plan. Proposed site plan. Oh, that's page 8 of the plans PDF. And actually, John, as I was looking at it, I was looking at the piping plan, and there's the double line that you'd expect from a curb on the piping plan, but on the site plan, it's just a thick black line. If you could pan up a bit, so it's just not a typical line type that'd be used for a curbing on this sheet. But the other one does make it more clear. Can you zoom into the little sidewalk in front of the building?
so, yeah.
Okay. Is that a double line? Okay, I'll take your word for it, I guess.
And the arrow that right at the bottom of the page where it says installed VGC, VGC stands for vertical granite curb. So you'll see that on the other sheet as well for the site plans.
Can I overstep a little bit? Why are you using vertical granite curb and not cast in place concrete on a wastewater treatment plant?
Durability, it is a little more durable.
Is it more expensive? Yeah.
Surprisingly, it's not as much as you think, according to the recent unit prices from V-Trans.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Okay, good. Thank you. Pardon me. 17. We would like you to select a fully shielded fixture, please.
I think 17 and 18 go together, and this is with regards to that floodlight detail there. And that is a wall-mounted, downward-facing light fixture. So the shielding, I think the next one says it's not necessarily, let's see,
So 17 is about the wall pack and 18 is about the floodlights.
'17's on the wall mount.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And why would the wall mount be shielded? It only illuminates downward on the sidewalk and the parking.
So the standard is for the, let's see, I'm going to get the exact language. The fixtures must be shielded to direct light downward and prevent the source of light from being visible from any adjacent residential property or street. And so not knowing if it's visible or not, usually we look for the light emitting part to be not visible from a horizontal perspective.
Okay, if a shield is available, we would put it on it. I'm
I
not a
think
lighting
when
expert.
I looked at these lights on their website, and it looked like there were some that were where the lights were more recessed. Because I think the two little, it's really hard to see in this,
bulbs.
but the two little dots inside the oval at the bottom are the LEDs. And I think this same manufacturer has one where the little dots are like up higher, and so you can't see them.
Oh,
Little
okay.
ghosts in there.
Okay. Number 18 is also related to lighting, and we're asking you to confirm that the intended installation angle and include a condition requiring the fixture to be angled parallel to the ground. Is that something you can do?
Parallel to the ground. I don't understand the parallel to the ground.
Is there a different light on the plan you can show us, Betsy, that this is in reference to? When you said they were referring to different lights, I got a little confused.
Yeah, so this comment is now about the floodlights.
These the lights that are on the tanks themselves
Oh, out back.
out back.
Oh, okay.
So they are angled parallel to the ground. Yes.
Okay.
I think we'd be fine with the condition. I just wanted to understand.
Yeah.
I think that's
I'm
fine.
sorry, I
to
didn't
take.
understand you, Tom.
I'd be fine with the condition as stated here. I just
Okay.
didn't understand what lights we were talking about. And the fact those are back behind the stream. It's kind of wooded on 3, arguably 4 sides back there. So we'll make sure that they're angled appropriately.
Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the cut sheet that because it's pointing up right there in the cut sheet, just to give the visual of the light fixture itself. But yeah, those are downward facing, angled parallel to the ground. Now that I understand. Yep.
Not doing this.
Yeah, we're not shining to the sky.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. 19. This is regarding the waiver of requirements to submit photometric drawings. We need those, please.
My understanding from our conversation at the sketch plan development was that the cut sheets would be appropriate, and then the cut sheets they do come with a little diagram of how far. They're very small lights. This isn't a large lighting project. It's only what's required per the LDR for the parking at the operations building, and then per safety requirements at the clarifier tanks and open tanks. I came away with the understanding from the sketch plan that we were not required to submit a photometric plan due to the small nature of this project.
Well, let's see what staff says about that.
It's the board's decision.
Okay.
I mean, everything staff thinks about it is in the report.
Okay.
They asked for a modification. That's the standard to allow modification of standards. You know, any modification needs to be not necessary for public health, safety, or general welfare, inappropriate for the site plan, or cause extraordinary or unnecessary hardship.
Do we have the cut sheets here that show the lighting?
I don't think I put them in the packet because if you include every single page from the lighting specs, sometimes the packet gets really, really big. But I
Knowing
could
that we're not
probably
going
pull them
to
up.
close the hearing tonight, would it be possible to look at those?
So my concern is that if the board looks in them and says, no, we really need a photometric drawing, then we're looking at another continued hearing. I mean, is there really a hardship to providing a photometric drawing?
And that was my next question. Is what's the level of effort for providing a photometric drawing?
It's more effort, it's more cost to the project and schedule. So, it takes time to develop the drawings, and that we're at a point where we're very near bidding. All the other state and federal permits are in place now. Like I say, it was my understanding from the sketch plan meeting that wasn't a requirement, and we were allowed to submit as a hardship due to the small nature of the project with lighting.
It might be worthwhile just if Betsy can find them to pull them up.
Say that again, please.
It'll be worthwhile, I think, if we give Betsy a moment. Perhaps she can find
The
everybody
fixture
can-
specific photometrics.
And you can take a look at them, and then we'll.
I mean,
Are the locations of all the lights on the plan?
was
I'm
looking
trying
for that
to
too.
find like a thing in the legend that says this is where the lights are. So I'm thinking like, okay, if they're on the building, right, and they're on the, but if they're on the tanks and they're 12 feet up, right, even if they're shielded, if I'm in the neighbor in the backyard, I'm going to see that light all night. Or I thought we talked they'd be on photometric timers or something like that, right?
Yeah. So we've got this up here, but I think we can. So these are the lights out front on the building,
That's the operations.
kind of between the road and the stream, let's call it, on the operations building.
The other lights are replacing existing lights above the tanks. They're not, it wouldn't be anything new to the site.
There's not a new one for the new clarifier, right? That'd be closed.
There would be one with the new clarifier. It's required on those tanks.
Can we go
It's
back
a
to that
safety.
previous one that said the average at ground level was 1 foot candle? It's really that dim?
Yeah, so there's two things here. There's the floodlights for the tanks, and then there's the wall packs for the building. And the first one is the wall packs, and then the second one is the floodlights. And the floodlights, I was just looking at this, and like this is 6 different options, right? So it could be any of these things. But you could testify that it is a specific one if you'd like. Do you want me to zoom in on any part of this? I don't really understand what I'm looking at here.
Sure, if we want to start at the operations building, you can zoom in on the one on the left. And that 1 foot candle average.
That's right.
No, they're not.
So if those are acceptable, then we can move to the floodlights. And I was not the designer on the floodlights, so I'm going to try to look at what is. There's one circled, and then we could see if that matches the diagram.
I mean, I think these are all telling you they're dependent on the angle, which I don't know that that's specified somewhere.
Yeah, they've got a box on.
Yeah, tilted at 80 degrees, tilted at 60 degrees, tilted at 45 degrees.
Right, but they've got a red box where it says WMF, WFR, and HMF. So 3 feet and 5 feet. Okay.
So I guess just to bring it back, the question is whether they need to submit a photometric drawing or whether the information that's submitted here is enough. If the board thinks they can look through these, with a magnifying glass and figure out whether what's being proposed meets the standards, great. If the board wants a photometric drawing that's more to what we're used to, which is showing the foot candles in specific locations and when it drops to 0, they should let the applicant know that now.
Just clarifying question: the light is on the clarifier. Is it pointed into the clarifier or out of the clarifier?
Into the clarifier.
So the back of these photo envelopes would be okay.
Permanent.
All right,
Yeah.
understood.
Not going very far.
I'm of two minds, and I wonder if the board we can have a little discussion about this. I think what we've heard is that the folks who live near are interested in having a low impact as low impact as possible lighting scheme, and some of us have some expertise that can look at cut sheets and photometric diagrams and make some assumptions, but I'm not sure any of us have the technical expertise to really say for sure if a member of the public in the neighborhood came here and said, this is going to be too bright, or I'm concerned it's going to be too bright, that we've done our due diligence.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, I'm willing to be swayed. I just want to have that discussion.
Yeah, I don't have enough information to say we don't need that analysis to make the
Yeah.
work. So I just think there needs to be more information to help me feel comfortable that
And by more information, do you mean a photometric?
Yeah.
that's what the standard says. I think that's the level.
Could I offer one other thing, just real quickly, if I may? That those floodlights are we can't operate the plant without them.
Of course.
And then the sconce lights on the up by the front operations building were required by the LDR.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm not debating.
Yeah.
If anything, from my manufacturing experience, you need the lighting to run the facility. And the question is what impact that has outside.
And
So I need to know.
Yeah.
To me, I need to see the minimum you feel to run the facility. Then we need to see the impact.
And I think us being able to answer to the standard, which is why we're here, is to make sure that we can answer in an informed way that why we've made the decisions that we've made.
And respond to the public comment we heard. I
Exactly.
mean, there's a reason we listen to the public. Frank, go ahead.
well, Ted has pretty much stated my concern. My only real concern is what is the dispersion of the light
Right.
outside the perimeter of the facility. And if we don't have an illustration of that, then we don't have a basis to demand any particular angle on the visor, nor should we approve any particular angle on the visor, because that's the issue, I think.
So this is not what you want to hear, but I believe I'm hearing that the board would like a photometric study, please.
Charlie?
Can I make one comment? Sorry to,
Marisa.
Oh, yes. Go
Sure.
ahead, Marissa.
sorry, I'm kind of lurking in the background here. I think if you scroll down one more sheet, and again, I haven't studied these were prepared by our electrical engineer, but if you scroll down one further sheet to where those like yellow triangles were we were looking at. I don't know, maybe it was up higher.
That one. That one, Marisa?
No. It had the like kind of a 3D version of the wall.
The one that had the 1 foot candle. That one. Yeah, that's the
Yep.
wall packs.
That one. Yep. If you look at that, the gray isometric version on the right, the way that I look at this is, at a mounting height of 10 feet, you're at 1 foot candle, 35 feet from the building. And then, I don't know, some distance beyond that, say 40 feet, you're at 0.1 foot candles. And, so by the time you get to any property line, you're certainly going to be down at 0 foot candles, for this particular fixture.
Marisa
And
or
I
John,
don't
can you tell
know-
us what page the actual fixtures are shown on? What site plan?
I believe they're on the electrical drawings.
Marisa,
Or
I think
the
the
architectural
problem is
drawings.
going to be on the
Yeah, they're shown on the structure.
clarifiers.
Yeah.
The floodlights on the clarifiers. If I've heard from the board, we're going to need to prepare a photometric plan for that.
I'm not sure. I don't think that we've decided. I think that was helpful for me in seeing, if I'm understanding correctly, that yellow or the gray sort of diagram there was showing the floodlights, which for me is, I think, the bigger question because they are mounted high. So that was actually very helpful for me. But I think, again, we each have different levels of experience. So I happen to work in energy efficiency. I'm a little bit more familiar looking at photometric drawings. I don't want to say that my colleagues aren't. They might very well be. I just don't know. So I think it's just a question of do we have what we need to be okay with that? I think my other question is seeing that. Thank you for that, Marissa. That was very helpful. And showing where that is in relation to the property line. I think, again, I'm trying to figure out if we have enough information to say that this is that we can make a decision that what we have is sufficient. And so if we have a sort of taking the lighting characteristics and trying to map them onto one of the other site schematics so we can see just, again, doing our due diligence to make sure that the standard is met.
And
Or
to
without the photometric drawing
your
that were
comment.
reasonable. Yeah.
my experience is running wastewater treatment plants.
Oh, there
From
you go.
industrial experience, so I know the need
Yeah.
of light to
Yeah, of
run a
course.
wastewater treatment
Yeah.
plant. My concern is the impact
Yes.
outside that we
Yes.
need to see that. So the experts need to give us the requirements to run the operation.
Yeah.
Then we need to evaluate the impact to the community. And I don't have enough to say I can do.
I have a question for the online commenter, because if the manufacturer's specs, which is what I suppose these are, is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
There's no reason not to rely on them if they show enough information.
Right.
So the question I have is, where we started this discussion was angle of installation, right? The question I have is, does this diagram, which I'm sorry, I don't recall the name or never heard the name of the person who made the comment.
Marisa.
Yeah, sorry, Marisa DiBiaso, Hoyle Tanner Associates.
Do the manufacturers' specs explicitly assume the angle of installation that produces this dispersion, for lack of a better term? I don't see it. I mean, I don't, in a casual look, I don't see it on here, but to me, unless we know that, then the diagram doesn't mean anything. But if we do know that, then maybe we can give weight to the diagram. So the question is, where in the manufacturer's specs is the angle of dispersion related to this diagram? The angle of installation related to the diagram. That, to me, that's the question that could avoid requiring, what I'm gathering from the way everybody's treating it, a fairly expensive exercise in photometric analysis.
Yeah.
But without that, you got a problem. So is it there or not?
Yeah, I can't speak. I didn't select the lighting, so I can't speak to if that angle is shown on this diagram.
Well, it sounds like the board, even if the information is all here, could really use it handed to them with a neat little bow. And if you're going to come back for some other stuff anyway, maybe you could tidy up that package so that it's a little bit more clear cut of what the proposal is.
Are you calling for a photometric drawing? Is this
If they're
is a
saying
little
the
package-
information that's provided is as good as a photometric drawing,
Okay.
organize that in a way that the
Okay.
board
Yeah,
really
call it out, specify it. Yeah.
Is
that clear?
there a diagram that shows the placement of the lights so that we could consider that?
Tom, I think we should just do the photometric drawing.
Are we making it painful enough for you at this point?
You can spend the additional. Yeah.
We can keep going.
I
Yeah.
think you may find it underwhelming, but we'll prepare that for you,
Okay.
so you can see it.
Okay.
And just keeping in mind the clarifier again is out back, surrounded on at least 3, arguably 4 sides by trees
Yeah.
as well. But if that's what the board needs.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, board. Okay, moving on to number 20. This is about the fence height. It's supposed to be 6 feet, not 6 feet 2.
Okay, now I understand the question. Originally, when I read that, I thought, oh, okay, we can make that 6 feet.
Okay, good. And regarding the chain link fence, we need to have the open loop at the top.
Closed. So, a question.
I'm sorry, closed loop. You show the open loop. Okay.
Question on this, just make sure I'm clear as to what's being requested. That is having the top rail so that no portion of the chain link fence goes above the top rail? Or is it with regards to the barbs versus the tongue? So we have it currently showing the barbs going up.
Right. So the language in the staff report is the language in the LDR. Chain link fences erected with the open loop at the top of the fence. So that's what the words say. I would interpret it that it has to be folded over. I think that's
Folded
how
over.
the board has made their decisions in the past. It doesn't have to be recessed below the top bar because sometimes there isn't a top bar.
Right.
But if the board feels otherwise, those are the words in front of you. Interpret it how you will.
My sense is that the intent is safety.
I interpreted the bar had to be folded over.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, that we can certainly modify. It's just one detail. We'll just drill them down.
That makes it 2 inches shorter too. So
Yeah, we're kidding.
Okay, we've reached the end of our questions and comments. Before we turn to public comment, do board members have any other questions for the applicant? Hearing none.
I think there may be some online. I have one question from the public.
Okay.
I'm just going to, go ahead.
We haven't called for that yet, but
I'm so sorry.
no, that's okay.
I
I just
I heard
wondered if,
I heard what I wanted to hear, Dawn.
okay, well, that's fine. We all do sometimes. So thank you. We're going to turn to public comment now.
Sorry.
Are there any, just so we have a sense, are there any members here who would like to make comments? Okay. And we have some comments online.
And I have one written comment that I received as well.
Okay. Why don't we take the gentleman who's in the auditorium first, please? Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eric Dupin, and I prepared a little letter and I sent
Did you
it.
push
Push the button on the mic.
There's a little
It
button
says push.
Push.
see
Yep.
green. Yep. And lean into the mic if you can so we can hear you. Thank you.
And is your testimony what Marla referred to as the written testimony? Okay.
Correct. So I'm going to read the letter I sent to the board through Marla. So again, my name is Eric Dupin, and I have a property which is abutting the water treatment facility. Just across the street, I'm probably the closest neighbor to this facility. So I am an interested party concerning the application for which this land development is being proposed. I have owned my home as an abutting property for 6 years. I am also a professional engineer who regularly works with firms to deliver complex technology projects in the field of energy and water. I totally appreciate that failure to make the necessary equipment and technology upgrades at the Bartlett Bay wastewater treatment facility would increase the risk of equipment failure and wastewater discharge that is harmful to the environment. So we need to do this, right? No doubt. In the past year, I have noticed an increase in the noise from the treatment facility. As the property abuts my primary bedroom, I am aware that the noise generally commences around 7 a.m. or even before. I am concerned about the inadequacy of the proposed screening and buffering of the treatment facility. I agree with the staff's recommendation under 14.6 B3 that the board should discuss with the applicant the minimization of tree clearing. Replacing fully grown trees with 2-inch seedlings or 2.5 will require years before an effective noise barrier is in place. I request that the board requires the applicant to improve the proposed vegetative screening at the entrance. This includes reconsidering the cutting of the mature cedar trees currently serving as a screen and consulting the city arborist on vegetation that can serve an effective screening to mitigate noise impacts and separate incompatibilities immediately upon completion of the project, not 10 years down the road. I also request information on the overall plans for noise mitigation to ensure that the upgraded technology and equipment does not increase noise levels at the facility. I am also concerned with the potential for increased disturbance due to the proposed entrance seating area. I concur with the staff's comment in the report under 1406C, inquiring about more details for this shared use space. The proposed public seating area is situated immediately across from my primary bedroom and has potential to decrease the peaceful enjoyment of my premises through an increase in the noise level should visitor converse loudly, play music or video on their speakerphones, as well as nuisance due to potentially smoking cigarettes or even marijuana. In summary, I ask the board to direct the applicant to improve vegetative screening or use other noise mitigation measures and eliminate public seating at the facility entrance to significantly enhance the project design. As we were hearing the conversation, I took some additional notes. I don't know if you have all seen the existing foliage at the property. I assume so. So there's about 35 feet high, evergreen, and also trees. So how the current landscaping, how can this the noise barrier, potentially preventing, lumens, right? The illumination of the facility. How can what is proposed currently replace what's in place right now, where you see 35 feet of evergreens and other types of trees? I'm really questioning that. So these are my comments, and I thank you for your considerations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Other comments online? Please.
The two comments I received online are from Layla Bringus, and she also lives on Bartlett Bay Rd or in that vicinity. Her first comment is a question: how long will the project take to complete, and at what times/days will construction be taking place? And her second comment is that she agrees with Eric's comments about the cedar trees not being cut.
Thank you. So the question about how long will the project take, I think the applicant can answer.
Well, I'll take the win. So it would be within the city's noise ordinance, nuisance ordinance. We wouldn't be necessarily working weekends, and there's specified times when construction can occur. So all construction in the city abides by that, and that's what how we would bid this out from the kind of the win. But total duration, John, assuming we start next summer, about a year. Is that about 2 years? All right.
2 years. Okay.
2 years on and off. Yep.
I'm sorry, did you say it's a year for build out?
2 years.
2 years for build out?
You
Wow.
have to maintain the plant in operation, so it does take longer to do this type of project on a small parcel.
What happens to water service during that time?
It has to be maintained. You mean as far as the wastewater service has to be maintained, and the water, the potable water that comes into the plant needs to be maintained.
Oh, it's a little tricky.
Very.
All on 6 acres.
Okay. Any other comments?
And that's what I have online.
No other comments here? Okay, thank you. So we need to schedule a time for you to come back. I will ask Marla to look at the calendar.
Yeah, so sounds like there's some information that we already have, but in order to allow the applicant more than tomorrow to prepare their responses, because we do need everything 2 weeks in advance of the hearing, and the next hearing would be in 2 weeks. That gives us a week with it and you a week with it. We would be looking at November 4th, and so we would need materials 2 weeks before that. Can you get everything you need ready in the next 2 weeks?
Oh, since Marissa's going to be doing a fair amount of this, the photometric plan, Marissa, you think we can get that turned around in 2 weeks?
It's sorry, Marisa DiBiase, Hoyle Tanner. That's going to be a question for the supplier of the lighting. I think we would request the photometric plan from them and work with the electrical engineer. So maybe.
That will be the tightest one, is getting the photometric plan in it to be in that packet that goes in 2 weeks. If that was allowed to be submitted afterwards or as an amendment to it, we can bring it up on screen here.
So what happens is that the 2 weeks gives internal City of South Burlington staff a week to review it, and then we publish it a week before. If I know something is coming a couple days late, we can accommodate that.
Okay.
If you want it to be reviewed, we do need some time. I can't review it in 0 time.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you don't feel the need for us to review internally before you show it to the board, up until the hearing is fine, I guess. But, you run the risk of the board saying, we need more time with this. So, the board schedule isn't crazy. You could go on November 18th instead, if you'd prefer, or November 4th, if you think you likely can make it. There's just a small risk.
I'd like to keep the 4th so that we keep with the bid schedule.
But that'd be my preference. I think everybody will be able to look at that photometric plan pretty quickly.
Okay. Thank you.
I have one more question, if you don't
Sure.
mind. You know, on your, I'm taken aback by the 2-year schedule.
Yeah.
What does that assume about work schedules during the week? Is there a built-in construction day, construction week into that 2-year projection?
January,
If
yeah.
so, tell me what it is.
Monday through Friday, standard hours for the city is at 7 to 7 for construction.
I think it's later, but we don't typically. Yeah.
So,
But typically the contractor's only going to work 7 to 4 anyway. If they request an operation to happen outside of that, then it would be up to the city's review.
but no weekends, and you're saying theoretically you end at 4?
All right, so I'm not the contractor. When I say 2 years, that's an estimate from the consulting side of what we would give the contractor to complete the project, knowing that they have to sequence work and phase it through the site. Knowing that that first year of operation is going to be a lot of setup and getting things out of the way so they can build the future stuff. So it's a bit of relocation before you start the final construction.
So in principle, then you wouldn't object to conditions of any permit that restricted you to Monday to Friday and had a cutoff time at the end of the day. 4 o'clock, let's say 4, but without I'm not locking you into that. But
So my preference is
that would be
we are asked to-
reasonable from the standpoint of sticking with your 2-year projection. Right?
My preference is that we abide by what's in city ordinance for noise, and not have additional restrictions put upon us. That would be my preference.
Well, the ordinance, we might go beyond the ordinance. Right?
But right, and that's your purview. But my preference as the applicant is not to be restricted more so than any other project in the city as far as noise goes, which is defined in city ordinance, the nuisance ordinance.
Okay.
I can pull that up and remind ourselves. I think you're right about 7 a.m. start time, and I think you were right about the 9 p.m. end time, and most people don't use that, but
It wouldn't be our intent to be working until 9 p.m.
Tom, do you is that in general provisions? Where is that?
It's if you go to the ordinance page on the city website, it's like 14 or 16, chapter 14 or 16.
Environment is 14.
It's under
Nuisance-
environment and then
nuisances.
under
Yep,
nuisance.
you're right. It was 14. Does it know?
Like a municipal scavenger hunt.
Oh, get to watch. Does it work? Yeah, it is 7 to 9.
But
7 a.m. to 9
typical
p.m.
work hours are, like 7 to 5 for the contractor. They would have to request to work outside that. I don't know if we've written that in the specs yet.
Well, and they charge extra for working
It
outside
would
of
be
normal
more.
hours anyway, so you wouldn't
Exactly.
be wanting to approve that all the time anyway.
Nope.
No.
Okay. I would entertain a motion to continue site plan application FP2536. Thank you. Did you hear that? Did everyone hear that? Okay. To November 4th, 2025.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, aye? Say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No? Okay. We'll see you back here on November 4th.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
So much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're running a little late. I told you, Charlie. You what? I didn't hear that.
Good job.
Okay,
Anyway.
our next project to review is site plan application SP 2535 of Beta Technologies, Inc. to construct the next phase of a previously approved master plan for a 344,000 square foot manufacturing and office building at, a 37,800 square foot office and retail building, a 15,600 square foot commercial building, and an 85,000 square foot flight instruction and airport use building on 40.43 acres. The phase consists of constructing a 4,988 square foot childcare facility within the green phase of the development at 56 Davinci Drive. Who is here for the applicant, please?
Yep, Alex Gagnon with Beta Technologies.
Alex?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
thanks, Alex.
Chris Gendron with Stantec Consulting Services.
Anyone else on your team who's going to testify?
Yeah, we've got a few others.
Cynthia Sylvie, Wagner Hodgson Landscape Architects.
What is your first name, please?
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Joel Page with Scott and Partners Architects, the architect of record for the project.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, raise your right hands, please. I'm going to swear you in. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
Riley's online. Are they participating as well?
No.
Okay.
You know the deal. We go through and the staff has set out some questions. What I would like to begin with is if you could show us a drawing with the child care center. Please.
Of course. Page, plan view, rendering. What flavor are you looking for?
A drawing that will clearly show us where the child care center is, what it's proposed to look like.
Okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I would go to page 47, the landscaping plan. If you need a little more context, 46 shows a little more zoomed out.
Gotta start sharing. It's a little pokey. You want to go one page up for the more zoomed out one? So in this picture, Wilson Road's on the right, Davinci Drive is sort of through the middle of the page, and the childcare building is the trapezoid, sort of dark colored.
Okay. Does everybody have a vision of that? And no, okay. All right, let's start with number one. We need, please, an updated traffic study.
Before we get into it, did you want to get a quick intro of Beta's vision behind it? Just to,
Sure, go ahead.
just to
I'm
lay
sorry,
the,
I
lay
should
the
have asked
framework,
for that.
lay the framework, and we also have a special request. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, it's, so yeah, I mean, this is the third building of our master plan. I'm glad you pulled that drawing up actually, so you can see where Wilson Road is. That's our main entry into the campus, to the South 40 campus. So this is our third building that we're going to be building as part of the master plan. It's significant to us. We've been growing quite a bit over the past few years. And this is a way to support our employees and prioritize childcare as you're coming into the facility and into our production space. Our special request that Chris just mentioned is we have Cynthia here. She's got to head out of here fairly quickly, so wanted to see if we could touch on some of the landscaping items while she's here.
So I'm sorry, she's only here for a short period of time?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I can direct you to which comments we'd like to
Perfect.
skip to. If
Thank
that's
you.
Okay.
Okay, Cynthia, talk to us.
Thank you. I appreciate your accommodation.
I believe we would start with
16, is it?
yeah, very deep in here. 16. Staff recommends the board just discuss whether to direct the applicant to retain these existing trees in the locations which they exist. There's only one caveat to this. we may want to start with 15, where we talk about a cross-lot connection.
Okay.
So the comment is, absent comments of the fire marshal's office to the contrary, staff does not consider a connection to the east to be necessary and recommends the board ask the applicant to discuss this reserved connection and why it has been provided. If you go to our site plan, you'll notice there is we dedicated a space through the site to form as a future cross-lot connection to the Pete's RV lot. We're not putting in a road. We're just dedicating an area, a right-of-way that says maybe sometime in the future there will be a connection to that space. And originally, staff had indicated that that was not required. Since that time, Beta has actually purchased Pete's RV. And it now allows for an opportunity to reorganize the curb cut that's going into Pete's RV and move that access over to what we hope to someday be a signalized intersection to allow access. So what has changed since then is we now have control over that, or Beta has control over that site, and they can actually close that curb cut. And that is why we're actually providing a
And do you
connection.
mean which curb cut can you get rid of? I'm sorry.
If you look at, if you see the number 12 and then move over to the right and then that site's curb cut.
Actually, so yeah, what's currently or has been Pete's RV, their curb cut on Williston Road.
Correct.
Got it.
And that is kind of going a little bit backwards to say that, yes, a cross-lot connection would actually be advantageous to our project, which is why we're showing it.
So on this map, the child care center is number 12?
I don't want you to get confused. This is the master plan, so...
Yeah, this is probably not the best plan to show, but it was just the fastest plan to show.
Yes, thank you for showing it. But it is a good clarification. The master plan is showing boxes that say there will be a building here. We have now gotten to the point where we're saying this box is going to look just like this. The parking is going to be here. It's going to...
needs to turn this way, have an angle on
Right, okay. Got it.
We're at the point where we're really defining the details of each project now.
Okay.
Listen, I really love the idea of getting rid of Pete's RV.
Of what?
Getting rid of Pete's RV.
Yeah.
Not the store, but the actual curb cut. Sorry, let me clarify.
The curb cut has historically been a bit squirrely to get in and out of.
I drive to get to work every day. I have to drive around people on the shoulder, right? It's
you
not
come up
safe.
over that hill, it's right there.
Yeah.
So that the cross-lock connection is that sort of curvy line
There you
that
go.
Chris is talking about there.
Yep, and we're positioning it directly adjacent to where I access the parking, just to have one intersection, not too much closer to the building.
Even as it is, it's not like I hear what you're saying. I'm not seeing that was super successful because it's kind of coming in at an angle, and you didn't manage a fully perpendicular.
Yeah, we were trying to
Not the
avoid
best.
several objects throughout there.
Okay, so let's read this. Absent comments of the fire marshal's office to the contrary, staff does not consider a connection to the east to be necessary and recommends, and you're saying it is necessary.
Or recommended.
Okay.
To consider.
Chris, I'm going to ask you to pull that closer and speak
Consider.
into it, please. Okay. All right. Do you have anything to say about that, Cynthia? Anything else?
So my comments pertain to 16. If we want to jump ahead.
All right, let's move on to 16. And this is about tree removal. Staff recommends the board discuss whether to direct the applicant to retain these existing trees in the location in which they exist.
So we prepared a diagram, and I don't know, Marla, how that is defined, and I don't have page numbers, and I'm sorry. But showing the trees that are essentially in harm's way when we consider that cross-lot connection. The majority of them are river birch. I think there are 7.
Could you speak up, please?
Yes,
I will pull that toward you a little.
Yep. So 7 river birch are in the corridor that is currently proposed as that cross-lot connection.
Page 50.
That's sort of pending survey, but it is our belief that there are 7 trees. So because they've been relatively recently planted, we think it actually makes sense to move them preemptively now as a part of this project to avoid trying to move larger trees in the future to accommodate that road. So
easier to move when they're young.
Yes.
Okay.
These were the ones that were planted like last year, right?
Yeah. No more than 2 years ago, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Staff good? Board good with that? Okay. Okay. The next one is also about landscaping 17.
So we did reach out to the arborist regarding this and have not heard back yet. But based on his recommendation, we have used sugar maple as part of this project. And this is the only site on the Beta campus where we are proposing sugar maple because it's not kind of an urban tolerant tree. But in this particular case, we have made a little like niche for these trees to live in. And they're supposed to symbolically kind of represent the, mixed maple oak forest, that would be indigenous to the area, but also provide kind of a sugar bush as they mature for the children to, sort of tap and participate in that process. So we are happy to, introduce a few other trees that might exist in that plant community on the mounds that, we'll sort of make clearer in the plan as we go ahead. But we would like to retain enough to have a viable little sugar bush. So the request to see 7 removed, we're essentially trying to negotiate, like we're thinking we could maybe switch out 3 of them and make everybody happy would be our hope. So
Okay. What is the issue with the sugar maples?
So I guess, and you probably know more about this than I do, but what I understand from the city arborist is that their maples in general are overplanted, and there is some diseases that are hurting maples. I'm sure you've seen the big spots on the leaves and things. And so the idea is to not put all our eggs in the maple basket.
Okay.
yes, and we understand that that's very valuable insight on sort of the urban forest level. We're essentially asking for sort of a reasonable exemption in the context of a play space for kids that represents kind of Vermont tradition. And the total addition of maples, and this I should know, but I don't. But I think we've proposed something like 9. So we're talking about maybe could we get to 5 of 9? Just find like a middle space.
Thank you. Board, are you willing to compromise on this in terms of the city arborist recommendation in the interests of children learning about maple syrup?
Think of the kids. This is fine with me.
This is what fine with you. Okay. Others?
I have no issues.
Yeah, I wouldn't reduce it.
You wouldn't reduce it.
I wouldn't reduce it.
You'd keep all maple?
Well, they're proposing 9 trees, right? So
Right.
I think that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
I would be fine with 9 as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Just to back up to something in the black that's a little bit above this, talking about landscaping budget. It's related to comment 16. This project has done a really fantastic job of doing landscaping mainly because the client asked for it and they really want it and they really want to improve it. But the comment in the staff notes is saying that we're going to be using the kind of our budget bank that we have for this master plan to do this. I would ask that we're going to be above and beyond on this project. I would actually can we add to that bank, not take away from the bank, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, Chris, if it came off that way, it didn't mean to. The finding was at master plan that additional budget beyond the minimum required could be applied to future phases.
Could be applied.
It could be applied.
But we're not going to. Okay.
So in this case, because you're creating additional budget beyond what was required, it would be adding to it.
And we'll do a similar budget tracking like we do in other projects.
Yeah, I've already started that for this.
Sweet. Great. Thank you for the clarification.
Are there any other items to cover while Cynthia is here?
There's a comment about the pocket park and it being considered or the plaza that we call a plaza that we might be considering a pocket park. If you want to maybe just explain the intent behind that so people understand what it is. If that comment is, if people need any additional input on that, we might want to just visit that one. That would be...
I think there's a couple landscaping features that I can't remember which comment it was, but that might be the better one to touch on.
The
here.
newly submitted fence
yes.
and bridge details.
Yes. No, good call.
What number is that?
19, yep.
Oh, yeah.
19.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right, Betsy. The one about the site amenity is 11 and 12.
Okay, let's go to 19 first. So the question about the split rail fence. Is this around the playground for the daycare center?
It is.
Is that safe?
Well, so it's a great question. We did submit exhibits. Marla, did those make it to the packet?
Well,
Or not to
not
the
the
packet,
packet,
but
but yeah, we have
can they
them.
be presented?
Mhm.
Okay. There's sort of a precedent for this actually in childcare centers of this type, and we can't dictate the curriculum of this place, but the vibe, if you'll excuse that word, is essentially like a forest school or a natural playground. So there are facilities in the state that essentially create a safety barrier with wire mesh on the inside of the posts of the fence.
Okay.
So it can be made safe. And our intent is to make it, well constructed enough that it is both attractive and safe, even for, little hands. So that detail, I think, does a reasonably good job of describing it. The photo is admittedly a vegetable garden, but, this is the basic principle. So.
Okay. I didn't realize there was mesh there. The mother and me started to get nervous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And is the question is the wooden fence compatible with the environment? And to me, it seems good.
Yeah, there's a whole lot about the approved palette of materials pertaining to the building. So I would recommend circling back to this one after you've had the conversation about the architecture of the building.
Okay.
But I think it's valuable that Cynthia has added what she added as well.
Okay, good. Thank you. And you said 11 and 12, did you say?
Just 11.
Okay, I'm going to read this. Staff considers approving the applicant's proposal for a 3,520 square foot courtyard, even if it were adjusted to comply with the requirements of the type, would be inconsistent with the master plan. Staff instead recommends the board consider whether to designate the amenitized outdoor area as a pocket park in lieu of the applicant's proposal. Such designation would require its replacement should the applicant seek to develop it in a different manner in the future, but would have no immediate impact on the proposed project.
I think the two things there is like, yes, we're totally willing to make it a.
You need to speak up, please.
I think the two things there, we would definitely be willing to make it a pocket park, but just want to get some additional feedback from staff or the board. What you're saying could be an impact in the future, just to make sure we're not missing anything.
Do you want to pull up the plan again, Betsy? The landscaping plan that you just had?
This is not the playground for the kids. This is a separate, okay. Okay, got it.
Yes.
No, the landscape plan. I don't know, pick a plan. Doesn't really matter.
If you go to 47, it's the landscaping plan. You can see it.
Okay. So, and I'm going to ask you to jump around too, so be ready. If you can see, Betsy, maybe you can, the area, there's like a dashed line that goes horizontally across the page, only in a little, like right here. So that dashed line goes around that sort of, I don't know, boomerang shaped area. And that's what they've designated as the site amenity. If this were a standalone project, that would be fine. The master plan, which is one of the first images in the packet, shows this larger area that is the site amenity for this phase. And it's sort of from north of the building where this boomerang shape is, all the way up to, comes to a point about halfway to the manufacturing building. And so taken in aggregate, we as staff think that the applicant is actually providing that. but that's not what they're asking to be counted. And so what we're saying is, well, we think that you can actually say they met it, even though they didn't ask for it. So it's that orange thing above the number 12. So you can see on the left, it says site amenities and childcare facilities, that orange and yellow color. And that box that's where they said they were going to put the site amenities. So that's what the master plan approved. So in order to be consistent with the master plan, staff's recommendation is just say, well, yeah, you've done it because you've provided a pocket park in that area by providing the seating and providing landscaping and a whole bunch of different kinds of features. The downside for the applicant is if that is the approved site amenity and they later, after the master plan expires in 10 years, want to do something else there, then they're on the hook for replacing that site amenity in another place. So that's the potential downside.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for that explanation. But yeah, we'll keep it as a pocket park for now.
Take the chance?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, got it. So you're going to say, yep, the orange area is the site amenity.
Yeah, and we'll update the drawing to do that.
Okay.
And it would be a pocket park and rain garden, right? Is that?
The rain garden can be part of.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Okay, and is 12 relevant to your work? I don't think so.
Details on the bridges is the only one, and I'm just having a hard time finding that one.
Oh, yeah.
6. Thank you.
Oh, 6. We're really jumping around.
I know we were really jumping around. I'm sorry. Cynthia caught me off guard.
I really appreciate this is an effort to not be locked out of a volunteer position, which is a bad look, guys. I appreciate this. So.
Let me get you the right page. We provided it this afternoon.
Yeah, that was on the detail sheet that you had up showing the fence. It was right next door.
With the fence. Oh, yeah.
Are we looking at number 6? Is that where we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Confused.
That is the page. Yep.
The comment is there are 2 small pedestrian bridges provided over proposed swales. No detail of pedestrian bridges has been provided. Staff recommends the board consider whether requiring the applicant to provide a detail for the bridges is necessary.
I assume it's this.
Yeah. So we just provided a detail. Yeah.
Okay.
Seems completely
Done 6
reasonable.
too.
Yep.
Anything else?
No. With that, I am all set.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Okay, let's go back.
Don has a checklist of all the numbers that we've covered
God.
versus not, so this is good. Well done, facilitator.
Hoping someone did. I should have been crossing it off as I went.
Okay. Whew. All right, we need an updated traffic study, please.
Thank you. The traffic so what we've been doing for the master plan on at least the first project that went through this. So what we didn't provide, and I was meaning to, was the master plan traffic study. So we have a traffic study that is for this entire development broken out by building. Originally, this was proposed to be a 75 student building, and that's how you determine the traffic that's going to it, just based on students. And it's now a 40 student building. So our tack last time for the maintenance and training facility, that was the last phase that was built, was we provided a supplemental memo confirming everything is still good. So we'll look at Williston Road in that memo and confirm that we'll do a signal warrant again at each phase to determine whether a signal is warranted at that intersection or not. And if that memo comes back and says no, then we'll provide that memo to staff. They can review it and give us feedback, and we're going to provide that.
Does that work? Okay. Thank you. Work for you?
Yep, that's perfectly consistent with expectations and what others have done in the past.
Okay. No. Number 2, we need an updated buildable area table, please.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll comply with that.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. Number 3, this is construction of the access road. I'm going to read, staff recommends the board discuss whether removal of the building and construction access road constitutes a change in the master plan. What think ye, board? Is it going to be abandoned? Do you plan to abandon it?
So we'd like to hold on to a section of that road for construction access for the next phase of the production facility. So I think we have that on a drawing that's included in the package. So we wouldn't be completely abandoning it. The road would still continue to the top of the hill where we could sort of tie into it from the Pete's RV lot. It also provides us access up to GMP's equipment that's up on the hill there. So we want to maintain it for that reason too.
Okay. So they're not removing it, so it's not a change.
So we're removing a good section of it where the childcare facility is going to go in. So we're removing a section sort of from the top of the hill where it comes up, sort of to Williston Road, where we're going to be doing all of that landscaping, but want to maintain some of that road.
Okay.
Okay, so the brick pavers, right? You could drive over the curb that way and get up onto it. That's what you're saying.
Charlie, can you use your mic?
I'm sorry. I'm on page 36, right? And there's brick pavers with granite curb border, right? So that's your access to the road, right?
Oh, no, sorry. Let me clarify a little bit. The only reason we're keeping the end of that road is that in the future we will connect to it.
Is what? I'm sorry.
In the future we will connect to it. We don't know exactly how that's going to look until those projects start getting into design. Like the phase 2 for the beta assembly facility and other projects. We need that road to get down there.
Going to the question posed in the staff comment, I would classify this departure as de minimis and therefore not requiring an amendment to the master plan.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. I can live with that. Yeah.
Can I just clarify? So you're saying you are going to keep the construction access road?
Yeah, I sent
Okay.
it along a site plan. It's a small, you can see where we're basically stopping it right where this project's grading stops for the most part. There's a little bit of grading, but we're just keeping it as far as we can until it gets into this project. Because we want to get access down into that quarry for future projects. We don't want to take it out and then put it back.
The property lines. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Number 4. I'm going to read the beginning of this. Staff recommends the board confirm staff's conclusion that the reported building coverage excludes the existing multi-tenant building, and if so, requires the applicant to update the provided values to reflect the conditions as they will exist if the proposed project is approved and developed.
Yeah, we'll absolutely update that. I think we did inadvertently exclude that, so.
Questions, board? Okay. Number 5. Staff considers the proposed building to be sufficiently similar in size to the building shown on the master plan so as not to require master plan amendment and recommends the board determine if they agree. Even though it's oriented to Davinci Drive. Are we okay with this? Okay, good. And woohoo, 6 we've already done. All right, 7.
Now.
This is regarding head-in parking. Though Davinci Drive is a private road, staff considers that it functions as a roadway, particularly at the Williston Road and Eagle Drive ends, and recommends the board direct the applicant to remove the head-in parking and replace it with parallel parking or no parking. So I need a picture of this, please.
Yeah, I think
Who's parking? Is this for drop-off of kids?
Yeah, it would be for drop off of kids, and then we'd have a couple people working at the facility. So
Is the head-in parking for safety reasons?
Yeah, I think in some ways, right, when you're dropping off your kid, it's nice not to be opening one side of the car door into traffic. It's also consistent with the rest of the parking that we have. I don't know if there's a zoomed out version of this plan where you can see some of the other parking that we have in Davinci. So what we're really trying to do there is, add some parking for the child care facility, keep it safe for kids getting in and out during drop off, and then keep it consistent with the rest of the parking as you're working your way down the road.
Well, parallel parking would nicely meet the safety requirement, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think you end up with one. You know, if I have two kids, right? One of them would be opening up the door into the lane of traffic. So
That would not work. I wouldn't think. Having done a lot of drop off of kids, I
Parallel
wouldn't want
parking
that.
doesn't work?
Pardon?
Say that again? I didn't.
I wouldn't want to do that for dropping off my kids.
What, parallel parking?
Yeah, because you're opening one. Well,
One door to traffic.
if you have two kids, one of them is going to be opening into the traffic lane.
Well, no, you'd say, hey, kid, get out where the sidewalk is.
Just to clarify, right? Just to the north, right? It is head-in parking, right? So it's not different than what's on the street currently. We're just adding more spots.
yes, yeah,
Okay.
correct.
And so the concern is the backing out, basically, is the safety concern.
Right.
So like after
how-
the drop off.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, when I look at the head-in parking, the practical question is, how heavily traveled is the road, and what is the hazard of backing out into that road?
So what's the distance from the intersection to the first spot?
Right about 180, 190.
And is that within the stopping distance for that speed?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. But back to traffic volumes. I mean, how many employees do you have, and how many people carpool? I mean, it's pretty low, and for them to all show up in the morning, it's
So it's really only servicing the facility here?
it's servicing Beta, and then the Burlington Technical Center is opening up soon. So, but they usually come in from the other direction. They come in from Aviation Ave, and then they go down Eagle Drive, and then come in that way. You can choose which way you come from, but it's very low traffic. I was there this morning at 8 a.m. just to get some confirmation on that, and there was one car every couple minutes.
So, what do we think, board? Do we want to remove the head-in parking and go for parallel parking?
Well, to some extent, you got to go with the more experienced dropper-offers.
I'm a dropper-offer. So one of the options that staff mentions is no parking. My vision of dropping off at childcare is not to do parallel parking. I mean, yes, you can tell your child to, but very often you have to open the door, undo the childcare seat. I mean, the whatever you call it, child safety seat, and then the child would need to get out of it and get out the other door. I think that's a real hassle.
Well, you can just lithely reach across,
Punchy tonight.
You've obviously never done this, Frank, have you?
not.
I guess my concern would be is just the sight of line distance, right? Line of sight distance. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done that. On L000, which is the landscaping plan, right? You have 3 trees that are planted between the sidewalk and the road. So if someone's turning right and moving their way down, I understand completely still that is within their line of sight, right? Someone backing up. So maybe relocating those trees since you're already relocating. I assume you want to relocate one of them because it is in that right of way that you are proposing to Pete's RV. So if you relocate at least 2 of them, right, that opens up that line of sight directly to those spots.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, I see what you're
that's a
saying.
good recommendation.
Especially the one. Especially the one that's where you're going to put a road.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So where does that leave us, Charlie? With
Oh, then I would be completely open. Fine, right? There's
So heavy
180
parking.
feet for someone that's turning right off of Williston Road to be able to make a decision, right?
Agreed.
I'm okay with it as long as the line of sight is reviewed.
Okay,
So
same.
I think
All
in
right.
that condition, have that reviewed, then
okay, are we ready to move on? Thank you. Okay, number 8. This is about the. I can't read my own writing. Let me read this. Staff recommends the board discuss whether the current proposed complements and defines a neighborhood, whether the current proposal complements and defines a neighborhood character, given that the master plan only approved white insulated metal panels, corten steel, curtain wall windows, and expanded metal aluminum panels as exterior facing and polycarbonate as a supplemental interior facing material. Tell us your thoughts.
And make sure your microphone is on, the little push button.
It's Joel, right?
It is Joel. Yeah, I was trying to raise this a little higher, but it should be on. Yeah.
There you go.
I just can't raise the table high enough. So I would start by stepping back. I mean, yes, most of the buildings that will be built by Beta are industrial buildings, and the materials that compose those buildings will be industrial materials. This building is a little bit of a departure because of the nature of what they're serving, which is little kids. And the emphasis is to try to tie the building to the earth, to the forest school, and to make it a warm, wonderful place to be. So materials play a deep part of that. So the intent of this building, the materials that you see reflect that. The form of the building, though, is not atypical to what the angular forms of the buildings that you see on the site and other ones that might come in the future. So that's sort of the intent and the essence of where we're heading with the building. And then as far as what was in the master planning original building components, there are these components in there, but they might be visualized differently for this building. So.
Okay. Sounds like a great justification to me. What do you think, board?
Well, it brings to mind something for me a little off the wall, perhaps, but I have a close friend who I didn't learn till late in life, really dislikes flowers. He's the only person I ever met in my life who actively dislikes flowers. And I'm thinking maybe staff consulted him before making this comment. Why would you stick a humanizing, wood-framed child's area in this otherwise sterile,
industrial,
flat environment? And the answer is, why not?
No offense, I guess.
Sorry,
I didn't totally
wasn't
follow,
personal.
but it's okay.
You like flowers, I know you do.
Does anyone on the board have any objection to what they're proposing? No?
I don't. Okay. I think the continuity between the building style sort of lends itself to this being met, in my opinion.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Joel.
you.
Okay, number 9. Staff recommends the board discuss with the applicant relocating the crosswalk between the 2 parking area entrances, which would reduce simultaneous driver decision-making and be more consistent with standard crosswalk location practices. Could we see on a picture of this, please?
I'll need site plan, which would be, I think, was that in the 50s? No.
I mean, really, it's on all of the crosswalks on all of the plans.
It's on any plan. Yeah, pick any site plan you got.
Pick a plan, any plan.
Great.
So where are we talking about, please?
So if you can see the brick pavers in the middle, let me just walk through some of the design intent here. And some of the design constraints as well to kind of respond to staff's comment.
Speak up, please, Chris.
Let me talk about the staff. I want to talk a little bit about the staff comment about, respond to that comment about moving it to where they suggested, which is something we actually had drawn up and considered. But the challenge, so before, I don't know how much you heard, but the brick area is the crossing from the Beta parking lot, where Beta staff park their car and go to the assembly facility. So there is there's 2 groups of people that are going to be using this facility, using this child care center. One is off-site Beta employees. That's people at 1150 Airport Drive over by the terminal. There's another place in Industrial Ave. There's probably more places than I even know about that they work. And those people will come in and use those perpendicular parking spaces. Other staff, however, will park their car, walk their kid across the road, cross Davinci Drive, drop them off, walk into work. And we looked at this crossing, And we did look at, if staff's alluding to, if you see those two access drives, put the crossing right in the center of those two. And we looked at that, and what happens is you actually need a staircase. So it's like a five-step staircase, because the grade change from the road down to the parking lot is pretty significant. It's 3 or 4 feet over a couple feet. So that got ruled out because we wanted to make it more accessible. We didn't want kids having to go up and down stairs, and just to be overall more accessible to everybody. So our concept was, okay, let's do something similar to what we did down below. It's a little different, but let's make this shared pedestrian vehicular plaza where pedestrians are given the right of way. So people expect to see pedestrians there. They'll pull up their car and they'll say, okay, pedestrians get the right of way, kind of like you're driving by Church Street. That that's for them. There'll be pedestrian crossing signs. And the reason we do it this way too is that grade change occurs direct. This part's a little more difficult to explain, but if I was to when I first looked at this, I said, let's just do a normal crossing at any intersection. You would just take that sidewalk on the left side and you would just run it across, and you'd have piano bar style across the road, and that would be fine. That actually probably get approved, and Public Works wouldn't have any issue with that. But the problem is the grading in that area is still challenging. It's still 2 or 3 feet below. So we were unable to do that. But if we get up to the road, it gets us to a place where the grading makes sense and that we can keep it flat enough for people to cross the road. So that was really our design intent there, to just make it as safe as possible and put it in a location that made sense for Beta employees and allows for pedestrians to cross the road.
Thank you. Thoughts, board? So you're not inclined to relocate the crosswalk as the staff report suggests?
I think the staff report was inquiring about why not, and I think I just wanted to explain that.
Okay.
That we really don't want to have a set of stairs.
Yeah. Can we live with that, board?
The logic makes sense to me.
Okay. Good. Okay. Number 10. Staff recommends the board require the applicant to redesign this transition if didn't we just cover that?
It's a little different. I've
okay.
tried to keep them separate.
So it's trying to prevent cars from bottoming out.
I always like to start horizontal and then go vertical. So we'll talk vertical.
Let's move on to 11, which we've already done.
Wait, but you didn't talk about
We need
10.
to go back
No, we
to
got to
10,
talk about
right?
10.
Because you're at a 7% grade, which is
Yeah.
The board require the applicant to redesign this.
I had to pull out my PE manual for this one,
Page
Chris.
42. Hey, when it comes to these things, you got to throw that out. Can you go to page 42 for this one? That is too good. Okay. So the intent here was to provide another method for not only slowing down traffic, but also flattening what is a 4.5% grade. I mean, it's not overly steep. I mean, that's like the max you want to design a parking lot at. So it is traversable. You can walk across it, but we were thinking, let's
speak up, Chris, please.
Let's do the best we can here and try to make this a very flat area that people can walk across, while also getting the added benefit of, as you're going down the road, there's this sudden grade change. So as your vehicle, you're like, I got to slow down. And then there's also this drop off at the end. So it's like kind of this raised plateau where it really just showcases that this is for pedestrians and not vehicles. And that was the intent there. I do understand the comment that it's not meeting the typical roadway profile, which we're not trying to do. We're trying to do what otherwise would be considered a tabletop intersection or a raised crosswalk, where it's a sudden grade change to slow drivers down. Similar to what we do down the way a little bit, and the grades on this match those grades as well. It's not going to be your typical raised crosswalk where you would come up level, then down. The challenge with that is that we're already coming down. So to come up when you're going down is very difficult to make that work.
So it's a unique traffic calming.
How wide is a crosswalk? It's
You want to zoom into the profile a little bit, Betsy?
Sure.
Well,
It's kind of
I have a question. Do the normal roadway standards, do they amount to a practice, or are they somehow written into, do they have a character of regulation in South Burlington?
So the DPW specifications include a K value, which is used to evaluate the length over which you transition a vertical curve. Yeah. Which means that for a speed of 25 miles an hour, that the transition, in order to have traffic move smoothly through this section of roadway, should be 78 feet long. And it's shown on this. You can see the flat part is sort of the crosswalk, and then the steep part right after that is the transition, and then where it goes back to the dash line is the existing roadway. So that steep part after the flat part, instead of being 25 feet long, should be 3 times that length in order to comply with DPW specifications. So the city does approve the tabletop crosswalks. The comment came from DPW saying, please evaluate the grading on the downhill side was proposed. I'm concerned this will create difficulties for vehicles and snow plowing. Chris has explained why they want it that way. Kind of, I think, in the board's court to make a decision on this.
sorry. This is a private road.
This is a private road.
The city doesn't plow it, or do they plow it?
No.
Yeah, no, the airport plows it.
I'm sorry?
The airport plows. The city does not plow it.
Okay.
Yeah,
No
it's a private
intention for
road.
the road to get transferred to the city, right?
Right. So the master plan decision talks about that, how it's not intended to be transferred to the city, but needs to meet public standards because of the way the LDRs are written. So it is a very weird sort of question to be asking.
Is there signage about this? I can see you move the pedestrian button or whatever, the light, right? But is there going to be a signage? Typically, there's signage for speed bumps.
Absolutely. In this situation, we'll have rapid flashing beacons on both sides. Big yellow signs, arrows pointing down.
So we're good with the proposal.
Looking to my engineering friend.
I mean, it's your design, right? I mean, from a life safety point, right? Like, if you feel comfortable with it, fine. From a vehicle damage standpoint, right? Like, I don't know, right? They're going to call the city, and they're going to say, I bottomed out my car, and the city's going to say it's not our road, right? So that's, I guess, back on you. That's your risk, right?
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say the grades are matching what would be a typical detail in actually from a Burlington detail where they have the tabletop, or they're starting to install those tabletop intersections all over town. It follows all like if you go to Pine Street, similar to that. It's the same
Chris,
detail.
I'm sorry. I'm having a real hard time hearing you. Can you pull that even closer, please, and talk into
tall.
it? Yeah.
To Marla's point, can you extend that? If you wanted to that distance, isn't that what you were saying, Marla, to extend that? Is there any reason you can't?
If you're getting to 78 feet, I mean, that'd be a whole roadway reconstruction. And if we were to that point, it wouldn't be as advantageous to the client to go that route.
Do they control the speed limits on the road?
Beta. You mean?
The speed limit is 25 on local roads citywide.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering, like, they have to meet the city standards, or is it a private road they could set it to be lower? I mean, because that's the only way I can see getting around the K value, right? To bring that speed down in that area around the child care facility, right?
One thing I want to elaborate about a K value, it doesn't apply to a tabletop intersection like we're trying to propose here.
You have a sag and then you have a
the,
rise.
when we design these, we'll do the road itself will meet all those K values, but every now and then you'll inject
Right.
a plateau. So the K value is a little different. That we're trying to. Our intent was to try to install a tabletop here.
Would you
best we
consider
can.
speed as something on that road to lower the speed there?
I think we'd try to address it with the sort of the warning signs before and after, rather than adjusting the speed for the whole road.
Yeah, I sort of envision in that your question about the signage and your comments about the lights that that could, you think about those signs that are like, suggested speed sort of thing, where it isn't necessarily changing the limit for the whole road, but there's a known hazard that people are made aware of by more prominent signage. So it sounds like you're hitting that from that side.
I'm okay.
Yeah, Shun Pike is right across the road, right? I believe that's a city road, and 100% you've got the sign. So if you hit it, you weren't paying attention. That's all I'm trying to get at.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah,
is that
Shunpike.
You
Yeah.
put a couple signs there, right? I don't think it would be out of character for the neighborhood either, because just across Williston, you've got them, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's flat there and it's not the same deal, but it still provides some kind of warning to the driver.
Is there a sign plan in this package?
No, we did not provide one, but we certainly can add those to the plan.
Sounds like that's critical of the board's approval of this.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we could add that, that'd be helpful.
Yep.
Okay.
Add those signs.
All right. We're moving on. Good discussion. Thank you. We've done 11. Number 12, we need the correct and consistent floor plans, please.
The architectural floor plans right there. I can see them on your screen. They're right above this plan. Are the most accurate, and we will revise all our plans to match that.
You will what? I'm sorry?
Revise all our plans to match that.
I don't know why I'm having a hard time hearing him.
He's going to revise them.
Yeah. Okay.
Feel free to get this close to the mic.
Hard time hearing you. Okay. Number.
So you're saying this is the one that's right?
Correct. Yeah, that is
The other ones match
architect.
this.
Or, I'm sorry. This is.
If you could go back to the one you were on, I think that's the
The next page.
we will. Yeah, the next page. Yep, right there. Yep, that's the one. That's the one we'll be matching for all of the different plans.
So that one does or does not have a door to the site amenity? It does. And it has a door to the playground?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, moving on to 13. Staff recommends the board include the first comment. Yeah, I didn't understand this as a condition of approval and require the applicant to modify the plans to comply with the second comment. Then it says materials must comply with CWD and DPW specifications. And it refers to the staff recommends the board include the first comment as a condition. So that's going to be a condition and require the applicant to modify the plans to comply with the second. So can you do that?
Absolutely. Yeah, we will reference the CWD specifications and have a note that says we will follow everything in their standards.
Okay, thanks. So 14. Staff recommends the board require the applicant to modify the plans to comply with comments 2 as well as comment 1 of the standard comments, which reads yada, yada, yada. But then at the bottom it says the plans already comply with comment number 2. That's why I was confused.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have said 3. That was just a typo.
Oh, okay. No wonder. Okay. So are we good with requiring the applicant to comply with DPW's specifications, board?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Okay. And we've done 15, and we've done 16, and we've done 17. So we are on to 18. Okay.
Friday.
Staff considers the lighting, oh no, lighting again, must be of the types approved at master plan. Cut sheets have not been provided. Staff recommends the board ask the applicant to describe the building mounted lighting type and show their location and lighting levels on the photometric drawing.
They are shown on the photometric drawing, and we provided a cut sheet earlier today. It's a fully downcast. It's kind of what we use at all the beta buildings, just a fully downcast wall-mounted fixture.
Okay. Okay, good.
Just confirming with staff that it was received.
Yep,
Okay,
there it is.
great.
Now, we discussed, we said we're going to come back to 19, and this is regarding the fence and the detail regarding height and the materials.
So now that you've looked at the materials generally and the fact that wood wasn't the approved material, I just wanted to have that in your brain before you gave a final answer on this one.
What do you think, board? Are you good with the details of height, materials?
On the surrounding fence, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, okay, good. 20, staff recommends the board require the applicant to revise the utility plan to show the proposed electrical connection and demonstrate compliance with these criteria for any above-ground electrical or other utility cabinets.
So we've been coordinating with Green Mountain Power, and there today is a building there that has a 400 amp service coming off a nearby utility pole, and he said we could use that existing pole mounted transformer, which would then go underground directly into the building. So at this point, we don't need any transformers or any ground mounted equipment.
Okay, great.
Is that pole mounted transformer in Williston Road?
Yes. In the Green Mountain Power easement.
Okay, thank you. So that brings us to the end of the staff comments. Before we open it up for public comment, does anyone have any final questions or issues? No? Okay. All right, let me turn to public comment. Is there anyone here? Sir, do you have a public comment to make? You're good. Larry, is it Larry? Yeah. Okay, it's kind of dark back there. Any people online?
No online comments.
Okay, thank you. All right, so
It sounds like this is some stuff they still need to work on, but not a lot that the board, let's see. Is there anything that you needed to see again? Traffic study. I think it was largely the traffic study.
so we're really probably talking about a drive-by meeting. Or fly-by meeting, what? Yeah, what? That's what they used to call it in the legislature.
But we're talking. Okay. Did you guys have a date that would work for you?
We were hoping to get into the next meeting if we could. I think we could get the traffic study done this week. I think that was really the last thing that we needed to do our homework on.
So we're talking about the November 4th meeting?
October.
What is it? Yeah. I think there's one sooner than that.
Well, if it's just the one thing
Okay.
and they get it this week, that gives me at least a couple days on it, and I can spend this week doing the other ones.
I didn't think we were having a meeting, but we will have one.
Well, it would be the only thing on that agenda.
Thanks a lot. So what is the October what?
21. 21.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to continue site plan application SP 2535 of Beta Technologies to October 21st.
Your mic's not on, sorry.
Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. I would I would entertain a motion, having given this poor soul a hard time. I would entertain a motion to continue site plan application SP 2535 of Beta Technologies, Inc. until October 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Is there a second? Thank you, Ted. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No, it's unanimous. Thank you. We will see you back here on October 21st for a very short meeting. All right, thanks. Okay, we have minutes to approve.
And
And
Joel, thank you for showing us that the podium actually goes up and down. I didn't know that before tonight. I saw you. I was like, oh, that's fantastic. So thanks
pretty
for that.
cool.
It goes up like this much.
Yeah, despite the fact that it wasn't actually sufficient to get it to your height.
Okay, we have minutes from September 3rd.
I move to approve the minutes of September 3rd, 2025.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. It's carried. Any other business?
Oh, I suppose I could. We have a new person joining the planning and zoning department. He'll be coming to the next meeting as a observer, and then we'll be taking over Betsy's role going forward.
What is his name?
His name is Alex.
Thanks for what you've done, Betsy.
Yeah,
Thank
Good. Thank you.
You'll see her
Good.
one more time, very briefly. Well, actually, I probably run it. Well, we'll talk about it. Anyway, okay. If you can stay after for 2 minutes, just wanted to make sure you were all on the same page about an email that you received.
Yes. Okay. So I will call the meeting adjourned. And thank you. We will see you in 2 weeks.
You can stand up now.
Maybe.
He needs to stand.